Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stunner, with another episode of VSW. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. It's your boy, the Versace Stunner, alongside
with the Sir Wolf here
with another episode of VSW. Tonight, we talk about WWE Backlash.
WrestleMania Backlash.
You know, I didn't have much expectation coming into this one. I was a little bit surprised. We'll go through it.
Oh, yes, Versace. So you get the kickoff match of Sheamus doing an open challenge, and none other than the Ricochet to answer the call.
Good to see Ricochet. I always, after his NXT run, I was kind of worried of what he was going to do. They were tagging him with Aleister Black for a while. They were just pushing him around. It's good to see him back in singles competition. Sheamus is another great individual that I love seeing in singles competition as well. His fight with Drew that he had recently was, a great match. It told a good story. I like his gimmick. And this was, I think, a good match to open up the show.
Absolutely. I thought it was too, even though Sheamus came away after a bro kick with the victory.
He did, and Sheamus is looking dominant right now. I think that he's getting ready for a push coming soon. I know that people say it all the time. I don't know. I just seen him going in the right direction. Not to say that they should be, not looking at Ricochet. He's another top star. They just need to find a spot for him.
Absolutely, they should. He lost steam ever since he lost his U.S. title a year and a half ago to AJ Styles.
Yeah, they really haven't found a place. Like I said, he came out of NXT hot. He tagged up with,
Aleister Black.
That went okay for a little bit. Then he got the title, and then, it all went downhill from there. And
especially after the Saudi show before the pandemic started, getting squashed by Brock Lesnar.
That show killed a lot of people, I think. A lot of people's momentum, rather. But that's a different discussion for a different day. This was the kickoff Backlash, and, it was Sheamus picking up the victory over Ricochet to kick things off, to really start things going. And Backlash, I remember my first Backlash, it was with Mankind.
Absolutely.
And watching it how many years later,
I remember one of the very first Backlashes I've seen was you had a winner-take-all match between the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and Undertaker, versus Intercontinental Champion at the time, Triple H, and WWE Champion Stone Cold, which was won by those two taking all the titles.
That's one hell of a matchup. That was one hell of a Backlash. Backlash has had some very memorable moments over the years since its debut as a pay-per-view. It's always been one of those kind of grimier ones with destruction, payback, retribution, and that's what I think we were starting to see here tonight. And like I said, let's kick it off. That was the kickoff match.
Absolutely. So the first official match on the card was the Raw Women's Championship in a triple threat between the champion, Rhea Ripley, against Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, versus Charlotte Flair.
You got three great women competing for the title. Rhea Ripley, did amazing in NXT and even more amazing as she stepped into the main roster. But you're going up against, speaking of amazing, Asuka. She had one of the greatest records in NXT ever. She was the Goldberg of it. The 90s Goldberg of it.
Okay? No one could take her down there.
Nobody. And then you have the queen herself, Charlotte Flair, one of the best wrestlers in the division. What a way to kick things off.
And I thought Charlotte was going to win it again when she hit the natural selection on both Asuka and Rhea Ripley, and she tried to pin both, but it was unsuccessful. After that, Ripley hit Asuka with a riptide. Then it turned into an Asuka lock. But a little later, Ripley definitely hit another riptide again to give the victory for the night to Rhea Ripley to successfully defend the title by pinfall.
And very well deserved. It just shows you how dominant she is and how well, and how she protects her title. She really gave it her all, and she fought two of the best women wrestlers out there off to retain that title. Kudos to Rhea Ripley. She deserves it. She deserves it. And, she's becoming one of my top favorite stars right now in the division.
Absolutely. So you got the next match, which was originally a handicap match because in the pre-show they knocked Dominic out. You had Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, the Dirty Dogs, defending their SmackDown Tag Team titles against Ray and Dominic, but it was originally just Ray.
And they brought Dominic in, and, I have to say, Dominic looked pretty good.
Especially when he came out from a backstage attack earlier, basically helping his dad win the tag team titles, grabbing the titles.
And that's one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. You don't see a father-son tag team win the titles often. It's happened now.
Especially they tried to do the same to Ray. They tried to attack his injured left leg most of the match.
And it just couldn't get done. You got to remember, Rey Mysterio is a legend. He's been in this business for a very long time. He's won Rumbles. He's won titles. He's one of the best, not just here, but, in Mexico. And, I believe that is where his son has had a lot of training. Because if you notice, Dominic didn't come through the typical realms of wrestling. He didn't go through NXT. He went right in. And he started doing spots with his dad and then right in. And, he really is showing that, he knows what he's doing out there.
Absolutely. And you had Dominic to really capitalize it with a frog splash after Ray hit a 619, leading with the Mysterios being the first ever father-son duo to win a tag team title.
It might even be, and I have to say that frog splash I think was in memory of Eddie G. Guerrero. You have to say it was,
baby.
And that's his other father, brother. That's his other father. But congratulations to these two for capturing the gold. Where they go, I don't know. Who they face, I don't know. But it's a moment for the Mysterios right now, and it's a good one.
So you got the talked about moment of the night, which was very negative on social media. But we'll get into it very soon.
We really will, and I will give you what I think of the whole thing. But
with Damian Priest against The Miz and a lumberjack man.
Now first off, you gotta remember, Damian Priest is just coming off, some hype. He, was from NXT, really big superstar. He's now in,
Raw. He was basically brought up to protect Bad Bunny and help translate.
Got brought up at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny kind of pushed him right to the main light. Not that he wasn't already in that direction, but it just kind of accelerated it. And now Bad Bunny is obviously going on tour doing his own thing. But Damian Priest is still in the light. He's had this Miz match, in Morrison. This beef has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Ever since I think Miz laid eyes on Bad Bunny, there's been this feud. And, it was time for it to end tonight.
Absolutely it was. Don't worry, the Lumberjacks was zombies.
Yeah, a throwback maybe from the old ECW, or I don't know. But the Lumberjacks were zombies.
Just promoting another Batista movie on Netflix.
Yes, that's right, folks. It wasn't some kind of crazy off-the-wall, gimmick spot to try to just do something different. No, it had a purpose. Mm-hmm. It was to promote David Bautista's new zombie movie coming out, and it got people to talk. Zombies were trending, WWE was trending, everybody was talking. I know it might have been cringe for a lot of fans to see Miz and Morrison get eaten by zombies.
Especially the Miz, he literally got his ACL eaten.
Yeah, his ACL now is as good as Kevin Nash. But, I don't know. I feel bad for him getting injured in that way. I don't think it was the match. I think it was the aftermath. But here's the deal. Okay, here's the deal. The Miz, his whole point in this, I think, has been to push, Damian Priest. Damian Priest is the up-and-coming star. Miz has had titles. He just had a title
run. He won the Grand Slam accolade twice in WWE.
He just won the title. He won the Money in the Bank. He's had his moments. He doesn't need it anymore. He's kind of like the new Daniel Bryan, where he's there, but he's there also to put people over, to make people look good.
Awesome.
He is. I hope for him to have a speedy recovery. And like I said, don't take this shit to heart. It's wrestling. We know it's not real. If they want to do zombies, what's the difference between that, believing in The Undertaker, or having,
or even watching Game of Thrones?
Not even. How about Randy Orton setting The Fiend on fire? We had him get burned alive and then come back. What is the difference between that and a zombie? Not much. We just watched it. It's entertainment. It's WWE. World Wrestling Entertainment.
People to laugh when they were attacking
It was supposed to be a humorous scene, and, it is what it is. I wouldn't take it so serious. Really, I wouldn't. It's WWE. We've seen a lot of shit over the years. There's been a lot worse. This wasn't meant to be taken serious. This, is what it was. And it was a promotion for David Batista's movie and nothing more.
Absolutely. So the next match at the card is a SmackDown Women's Championship with Bianca Belair defending against Bayley.
Two of my favorite women in the division. Bianca, the newly, crowned champion, really
beating Sasha Banks at WrestleMania.
What a moment. What a moment for women's wrestling. What a moment for Bianca Belair. But now she had to go against, the other one, Bayley.
Who people really were upset by her spot at WrestleMania when they thought Becky Lynch would be returned to confronting her. It was the Bellas who were on the night before, really causing Bayley to go crazy and really want the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yeah, she was irate that night, and I think that's what led it all towards this. And Belair's not going to step down. She's not going to step down from a challenge. She's a fighting champion.
Absolutely, she's a fighting champion. After beating Sasha Banks and main eventing WrestleMania, you had this match start off with her and Bayley squaring off, with Bayley trying to grab her hair most of the match to try and get the advantage, but it didn't work.
That is the one disadvantage I think that Belair has, is that hair, but she knows how to maneuver it and work it, and so she doesn't get it pulled. And, she really is a performer and an entertainer, but, deep down, she's a really good wrestler. Her movesets and everything, she is quick on her feet. Bayley's got to be a little bit quicker.
Absolutely. Well, slowing Bianca Belair down doesn't mean you get quicker, Versace, as she was taunting Belair the whole entire time, and she failed. She tried to do her Boston hug slam and everything, and it didn't seem to work out the case.
No, it's very hard to beat the Est. Okay, she is the reigning champion right now, and for a good reason.
Yeah, and what happened was Belair actually got the better of the twist and using her braid of ponytail hair to keep Bayley down to pin her, causing her to win.
And what a way to take the victory home. It just shows you that, there's nobody in the division right now that can touch Bianca Belair. She just beat the top two. The top two maybe last champions, I would say. Bayley held the title for quite a bit, so did Sasha. They were good. But right now, it's the age of Bianca Belair, and she is killing it.
The EST of WWE, killing it on the women's blue brand.
She surely is, and I just can't wait to see where she goes from here, who she faces at SummerSlam, or even who she faces at Hell in a Cell if she's on that card. You never know with these off-made pay-per-views. Sometimes they switch out, matches and who title shots, but we know we will see her at SummerSlam. It will just be a matter against who.
The WWE Championship and the triple threat match which is the defending champion, the Dominator, Bobby Lashley, against the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre, and the monster among men, Braun Strowman.
You know, all three top competitors. Bobby Lashley is really good right now. But, you know, Braun Strowman has had many, many chances at this belt between Monster in the Bank, greatest Royal Rumble winner. You know, he was champion for a bit.
Universal champ.
Universal champ, I know. But, you know, to me, there's really no difference. You're a champion no matter what brand you're in. You're beating the best of that brand. He's done all that, but...
And he even beat the best in the world.
He did. He really beat the best in the world. You know, and anybody... He's a big man. Anybody that's a fan of older wrestling could really appreciate what a big man can do in the sport. I love seeing that out of Braun when I see it. What I don't like seeing is all the comedy.
Absolutely, and it's been a little too much comedy this past pandemic with him.
It has, and
especially
I think
that whole feud with Shane really made me laugh.
It takes away from what he is all about and that monster among men. I can't have a monster if I'm going to laugh at him.
Absolutely, and Braun really ran out of momentum with that both McIntyre and Lashley trying to get revenge on what he did on Raw last week when he seemed like he was accepting MVP's offer to join the Hurt Business, was attacking Lashley too, not just McIntyre.
Exactly, you know. And, you know, it was an interesting battle between these three. You have, like I said, three top competitors. And you still got McIntyre chasing the title, you know. He's still in the scene, former champion. And you got Bobby Lashley, though, who's just, you know, one of the best right now.
Absolutely. And Lashley and McIntyre did begin the brawl right after they thought they took down Braun Strowman in the beginning of the match. But he would use everything from the steel strips, and he threw Lashley with McIntyre off the LED boards too.
That is insane. You know, that's crazy.
But one of the most crazy hard-hitting matches was, I think, Drew McIntyre slamming Lashley through the boards, the LED boards right backstage.
You know, that's insane too. This is kind of stuff that you used to see back in the day, like when you would see Kurt Angle suplexing Shane McMahon through glass. You don't see it often. These guys gave it their all. This is what I expect out of WWE. This is what I expect out of a main event. And this is what was delivered.
Even though McIntyre did hit Braun with a Claymore, it was Lashley who threw McIntyre down and pinned him to retain his title.
And Lashley is very dominant right now. And I think a lot of people were looking for McIntyre to reclaim the belt. It did not happen.
I honestly wait until maybe after SummerSlam so he can get his moment in front of a full crowd.
I mean, yes. Or his time has passed. We won't know that. I mean, I don't know how many more title shots he can get. But there has to be some more people facing Bobby Lashley. I would obviously love to see Lesnar versus Lashley. I think everybody would. I don't know if
that
we're ever going to see that.
That could be the case for SummerSlam.
It could be. Lesnar's known to showing up at only two events, you know, Mania and SummerSlam.
Maybe he'll do Lashley versus The Fiend.
You might see The Fiend return, and then you see Lashley versus him. I don't know what they're going to do, but right now, Lashley is dominating. I like him as champion.
Ever since he destroyed The Miz.
You know, it's been great, and, you know, him and MVP are right to the top.
Absolutely.
Like Doge, to the moon.
To the moon! And are you ready to move on?
I am so.
The main event of the evening.
The main event of the evening.
The head of the table and the tribal chief Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against a Swiss Superman, Cesaro.
You know, what a hyped up match. Cesaro is a Superman. Now, every match that Cesaro is in, he is amazing.
With his swing.
His athleticism, his strength. He reminds me of a gladiator and an old style wrestler all built into one. He's chiseled like a brick as well. It's amazing.
James Bond of wrestling.
He is, and he is great. This was a great matchup, in my opinion. He's deserved the title shot 125%.
We all actually thought he was going to come out with the victory because he was swinging Roman all night. And Roman got really frustrated with him as they thought he was going to have issues with both of them after getting pissed at both Usos before the show started.
Exactly. I won't lie for you. I was a little nervous for head of the table. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. Luckily, he did prevail. I am a big Roman fan. I like what Roman has done since he's come back and claimed what is his. I love the dynasty. They're the best dynasty in professional wrestling. That's the Samoan dynasty. They have the most talent. Going all the way back from Alfred Sika all the way now to Roman and the Usos and everything else. They've just killed it in between. Yokozuna, The Rock. The heritage is there. The history is there. It's all there and it's all being brought up and it's just great. It's wonderful to see.
And we all thought Cesaro was going to pull it off since he was coming away with those uppercuts and slams all night long. But it was the Tribal Chief who got the victory after reversing a neutralizer, putting a Superman punch in Cesaro and sparing Cesaro for the win.
And that just goes to show you why he's the head of the table. And I don't know what's going to be up next for, Roman. Roman can be the same way, It could be Roman versus Lesnar if Lesnar was returned at SummerSlam. That's another possibility.
But they teased another thing, which we're going to talk about after the match, where Jey Uso came out to attack Cesaro, and then Rollins' music hit in. Well, maybe they're going to start a feud between Seth and heel Roman for SummerSlam, but they teased it. But he came to attack Cesaro, and Reigns and Uso left the ring, and he was screaming at Cesaro the whole time. Looks like this feud from their Mania match is going to continue.
And I don't know what's going to happen. Will Rollins join that head of the table? Will Rollins and, Roman Reigns be part of the same faction once again?
Hitting Cesaro with his steel chair, yelling at him. Looks like they're going to get a big feud going into Hell in the Cell.
Yes, and it will be a lot different than the Shield. These guys are a lot different now. They have, changed in ways that have made them more vicious.
You've got one of their Shield teammates not even in WWE.
No, you don't. But the two that are left are much different than their Shield counterparts. If you look,
really unrecognizable characters now.
They are. Seth Rollins and, Roman Reigns have changed for the best, in my opinion.
Even ditched the Shield theme finally.
Finally. And, they really come into their own. And who knows what's just going to happen. Do we see them face each other? Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Do we see them team up? Maybe we do. Maybe we don't.
I honestly think since Hell in a Cell is a filter pay-per-view, not only the SummerSlam, before fan, I think they're going to have Roman face the other Uso. He faced Jay last year in Hell in a Cell. Jimmy Uso, since Jimmy seems to be fed up with this head of the table stuff.
He's got that shirt out. It makes sense. Maybe he probably will face the other Uso, and then they will, maybe that sets up the Rock feud. Who knows? There's a lot that can go on right now. It's really interesting to see where WWE is going to go with this one. It can go 1,000,001 avenues, and they always are changing.
Absolutely, Versace.
But overall, this was an excellent pay-per-view. That's not a major four. It came out with a lot of surprises, a lot of great matches. Everybody might have hated on the zombies, but you got to remember, it's a purpose. Think of it as a commercial, because that's what it was. It was a commercial for everybody to go watch Dave Bautista's new zombie movie. That's all it was. Nothing more, nothing less.
It's absolutely right, Versace. The main events really killed it tonight. But even though everyone was fed up with the zombie segment, but that's not the case, as WWE can finally build momentum out of getting out of the Thunderdome and return with live fans after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which they moved away from October.
Exactly. So they moved that so they could probably have one of their bigger events, maybe like Money in the Bank or something else with fans. Because normally we see that a little bit earlier in the year. So this will be very interesting. We got Hell in a Cell coming out, and then we're going to have fans. And this is going to be great. It's great to see things back and moving.
Restrictions getting lifted.
Wrestling is coming back in all shapes and forms, from the indies up to the, WWE and AEW. So this will be very exciting as we get to keep continuing covering this all year long. Gotta love it.
Disable signing out.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Versace Stoner out.